divine principles of Ma'at, truth, justice, and reciprocity, something makes me get out of my bed and do the work. And that is what we have to acknowledge, and that's what we have to do, because we cannot be cowed by these people. Next year, we should full up the whole of this. And then you would have see how much Babylon round this up, and up this up. That's what we want, because then they swell the crowd and we look big up on TV. Anyway, right now, I want you to give it up for our beautiful brother, Apex Zero, who's going to come and bless us with some more of the word. And you know what? What me really love about the item, you know, you listen to what the people are saying. It's important, because this brother dropped some profound reasoning on us just now. And me just have to say, me I claim him for one of my son them. So introduce my son, Apex Zero. Give it up for our brother.
Man, that blessed to come back up and talk to the people them again, you know what I'm saying? So mate, while I got the microphone, just again, make some noise, show some love to all the organisers of Sankofa Day, for yourselves for coming down, and for the ancestors them, that's what we're here for, yeah? And as the king them is saying, they are us, I and I means, them that come before, them now, and them in the future, it's I, we oneness, yeah? And as a brother said as well, it's all about the unity and it's all about oneness, and that can extend beyond people of the African diaspora. We are one people, we are one with everything in the universe. The problem is we are divided, and the problem is there's people, forces at work to keep us divided, right? It's important for us to fight those forces. There's many different ways for us to fight those forces, right? Not just, there's many different forms of violence that we experience as people of African descent and as people in general, right? And as beings in this universe, right? So there's many different forms of violence, there's many different ways to fight against that, right? That's what this next piece is about. We stand and fight.
Our young people are animals. I'm seeing young people on the floor. I'm not even going to go into the graphics because there's young people here. But it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And we have to remember that they are our sons. Our sons. And when I look at this Sankofa, I've got the Sankofa bird here on my wrist. For me, it's about going back. You have to go back and fetch. And sometimes I ask myself, what are we going back and getting? For me, in 2019, we need to go back and get our sons. There should be a bag of youths here today. A bag of teenagers here. Armed up, ready. I don't mean armed in terms of weapons. I mean they're so confident. The system sees them as being armed. They need to be here. And this is why what Brother Toyin was saying earlier is important. Next year, we have to go back and we have to bring our children here. We have to. The whole lineup should be dominated of teenagers and the younger ones, because they got the fire in their chest. Stand and fight! Stand and fight! When I work with the young people, they energize me profoundly. They energize me because they are standing up and fighting. And this is what we must do. At Manhood Academy, some of you might have seen it on BBC iPlayer or on social media, we dedicate our lives, I will say that one more time, we dedicate our lives to ensuring that our boys become strong, powerful men. I will say that word again, strong, powerful men. That is what we need in our community. Yes, we have the empresses and they're doing a sterling job. But I'm standing here as a man and I look at my peers and I know that, man them, we've let some of the sisters down. I know that and I will own that. But we have to begin not to live in the past and to wallow in what's happened, but focusing on the future. And our future is our teenagers. So we decided 4 years ago, I went to Gambia for the first time. Yeah, West Africa, beautiful country. If you've been to Gambia, go pop, pop, pop. Yeah, Gambia, beautiful, and there's something that they do there that a lot of indigenous cultures do, and it's something that's called rites of passage. They go through a rites of passage. When I was out there, I was having a deep conversation with some of the teenagers there, and we're sharing experiences. Like, I'm here from London, you go there and you're having a conversation, they're telling me, you know, that they're getting into business, they're getting into tech, and I'm over here saying, wow, in London, the narrative is, you know, black on black crime, and that's the narrative that we're fed. We know that's not true, but when you look at the news,
by the murdering thief who's stolen our land and our riches and keeps us chained to these blood-soaked streets, where crownless kings are molded to ruthless cutthroats who seek paper that's encoded and cursed, that the battle to capture leaves man's souls eroded and burnt. We don't fight for our freedom, because we don't accept that we're trapped, ripped from our natures, stripped from our cultures, brainwashed and preyed on by vultures. The descendants of brilliant minds that once were divine have now been confined to measuring drug weights, calculating the angles that make up the rat race, and strategizing for wars waged against ourselves and our own kin. People's heads left smoking by our own hands, and those are the cyborg drones that roam our civil war zone homes, separating and devastating families, who descend into anarchy rapidly. The concrete jungles evolved to this metal rainforest. Fam, our pain's promised. We're observed from our births. Cameras in buildings.
Eyes. Everything is through the lens of blackness, not through the lens of whiteness. And that's why Black Cultural Archives is important. And it really came about as a concept, as an institutional concept, to be the African People's Historical Monument, and that's the legal name of Black Cultural Archives. The name on our building is Black Cultural Archives, but our charity's name is African People's Historical Monument Foundation, because monuments are what we need. Monuments are what we can keep going back to. Monuments are what preserve and tell our stories and form a platform for continuing to make sure that our presence is recognized and celebrated by us, by others, and so that society itself can move forward. So that's what I've got to say.